Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show tonight. Tonight's guest, we have a returned citizen that's come home from incarceration. He's been on for a while, and he's doing some great things in the world. His brother did some time in prison, innocent man in prison, that they kidnapped from his land and took inside the system. But he went in the system and he made good of it. He did good things while he was in there, and he brought the good things from inside and he's brought it out. We're going to bring in Marquise Mitchell. He come up from Southern California to be on the show. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you for having me, brother.
And welcome home.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's
yes,
a pleasure.
Sir. Yes, sir. It's a
It
pleasure
feels
having you on the
well.
show. Yes, yes. Now, Marquise Mitchell is a name that I know so well. You know, we served time together.
A lot of time.
Yeah, we served time together. So we lived in the same house for a while.
We did.
Right. So I know a little bit about you, but I want society to know something about you. And we're going to go back in history. Okay.
Let's go.
We'll go back in history. Now, you from Southern California.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Long Beach to be exact.
Long Beach to be exact. You went to prison in what year?
I went to prison in 2005.
2005. And you was accused of what crime?
I was accused of sexually assaulting my then girlfriend at the time.
Okay. And you was sentenced to prison for how long?
I was sentenced to prison at that time for 3 years, but it enhanced to 10 years and actually 11 years and 8 months.
Okay. So they send you to prison.
Yes, sir.
And you went into a reception center in Southern California?
No, actually, I started off in the LA County Jail, infamous LA County Jail.
Okay.
Infamous LA County Jail. There where the officers used to, play fiddle with pictures that I used to get from females, and they used to threaten me, tell me that things would happen to me in my life if I didn't fork over those pictures that females would hand me. And
Wow.
yeah, moral turpitude, everything, exercised against my will and my freedom, completely violated my rights.
Yeah.
But by God's grace, you know what I mean, I left unscathed. I was transferred to Wayside out there by Magic Mountain, and the same thing followed me. In the county jail, when you have a name and officers pass your name around, you just can't shake it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And yeah, they try to bring harm to me. They try to bring, all kind of mayhem to me. But God had a greater plan.
Sure.
Every place that I went, not only was I safe, but I was protected. I was not only provided for, but I had a good rapport with the inmates there. Just being myself, standing my ground.
Right.
Never fluttering and never, looking past what I was accused of, but standing my ground in my truth.
Right.
And I don't want to say it was honor, but by God's grace, like I said, I was unscathed and,
Right.
and nothing happened with me. And then, later on, I did catch the change to state prison.
Right.
And the reception center I went to was Delano, actually.
Delano. Okay, you went to Delano. You stayed there for how long? You stayed in Delano?
I was there for about 6 months, about
Okay.
5.5, 6 months. Yeah.
And after that, they send you to
Chucky's house. I went to Chuckawalla.
Chuckawalla.
110, 118 humidity. Cook an egg on the ground.
That's crazy.
Yes.
That's crazy. How
Yes.
could they put people into that? And then they got this virus that was going around. What was that?
Well, it was the gastro something where you were, unfortunately, you was caught throwing up and you had to poop at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, and they
Wow.
was quarantining the whole building off, and the conditions were horrid. Actually, it was hot in the building. You got a virus going on, and they won't even let you out the building. They lock the whole building down.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And then they restrict you to one fan if you were able to afford a fan.
Wow.
Many people couldn't afford a fan.
Crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
absolutely.
That's crazy.
That's time.
Yeah, that's time.
That's time.
That's time. Now, how did you wind up in dual vocation institution, Tracy?
Transferring, they get to making the yards what they call now SNY yards, and they need the yard. So
Okay.
then they start transferring certain bodies out of the prison to another prison, and there I ended up. First, I went to Avenal State Prison.
Okay. How long you stayed in Avenal?
I was in Avenal about almost 4 years, 5 years.
Okay.
Then in 2013, excuse me, 2013, I stand corrected. I went to DVI,
Okay.
and that's where I met up with you again.
213.
Yeah.
Okay. DVI, Dual Vocation Institution.
Dual Vocational Institute. It wasn't too much instituting going on, brother, but
no.
that's what they called it, DVI.
That's what they call it, DVI.
Yes.
And you got the DVI. That's what, like I say, was what we met in DVI. And it was. We did time, You know, we did time. It was rough, you know, but we got through it because we had programs that we started.
Absolutely.
They didn't start. We started.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, we self-activated with the things that we already believed, and the things that we believed turned into something.
Right. Exactly.
It's just raw material.
Exactly.
And it was able to be produced by the time we put into it.
Right.
As you know, you were in the Muslim chapel doing your thing, and I was sitting at that table doing mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You was reading out of a Quran, I was reading out of a Bible,
Right,
but more
right.
so, the information was central. It was truth.
It was truth.
And
Right.
it had a mirror.
Right.
It asked you to look at yourself morally,
sure,
consciously, and it put you on blast. It put you on the table.
It did.
And either you're gonna produce something or you not.
Yeah.
You gonna cry about it, or you gonna go out. And brother, we went out. Here we
Yes.
are sitting.
Yes.
Here we
At
are
the
sitting
table. That's right.
at
That's
the
right.
table.
But you in L3, you know, I used to watch you and the things that you were doing. You was doing you. You
Absolutely.
was doing you because you knew sooner or later you was gonna come home.
Absolutely. Well, see, I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. I knew that I was in a place that I didn't belong. I knew I was in a place that I didn't fit. But I also knew that I was a man amongst other men. And unfortunately, a lot of little boys with, you know, childish mentality. So I knew that in order for me to survive this level of prison, I had to continue to do what I was doing at the first level of prison, which was in the county jail,
Right.
which was to stay to myself, but to be cordial, but to be vocal, and to stand up for what I believed in. And that just consisted of, you know, study. That consisted of being cordial enough to say hello to somebody
Right.
and asking how they are doing, no matter how they thought about me. That's the human aspect of it. Because I know there's layers of dysfunction.
Sure.
And all I have to do is talk to the human part of you.
Right.
And the human part of you wants to know that someone wants to know how you're doing.
Right. Exactly.
Simple.
It's real
And it's
simple.
it's not a game. You know what I mean? I don't have to manipulate you. All I have to do is learn how to survive by doing the bare necessities, the essentials of living.
Right.
How you doing, brother?
Yeah.
Very, very
That's right.
simple.
That's right. Simple. Simple. Okay. Now, you stayed in DVI how long?
Actually, I paroled from DVI 2017, so I was there about 4.5 years.
4.5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And
You left me.
Yeah.
The rest of the pillars left me
Yeah, I had
at
to
the table.
Yeah, I had to go.
Yes, you had to.
You know, I tell people that see when it's time, you know it's time because he'll pluck you from the flock
Yeah.
and he'll send you somewhere else to do some work.
Yeah, and see, you know what? That's what my experience was. Every place that I went, there was a need there. And DVI, when I got to DVI, I was talking to her brother in the hallway, and there was a chaplain there named Chaplain Mary, rest her soul. She's passed already, and she heard me talking in the hallway, and she said, "Hey, you, I need you to come tell that in church." And I was in church that Sunday, giving that same message. And I don't know to what extent it was just an exhortation. We were just encouraging people. I was letting people know, man, you got something inside of you, man. You don't got to hang your head low.
Yeah.
Quit looking for something from somebody that they not going to give you.
Yeah.
They have given you what they want you to have.
Exactly.
Exactly. So
Exactly.
understand, first of all, who you are.
Yeah.
Look in the mirror and develop what you have.
Yes.
If you can develop what you have, your head can get up, your thoughts can get up, and your territory can expand based on what you believe. But if you're only willing to believe what they're willing to give you, then I guess your head will hang low. It was simple.
Yeah.
It was
It's
simple.
It's very simple. You know, just we get instructions to do certain things, and a lot of people ignore them. You know, they say, you know, I got a higher power. I believe in Allah. I believe in God. Okay, and I follow instructions well.
Yes.
See, because I read daily. I read my book daily. Every morning I read some out of my book. I read every day, and I get instructions on what to do. And it's so simple, not just to read, but to follow instructions.
The instructions have to, to interject with you, I mean, the instructions are the blessings.
Exactly.
If you're able to unwrap the instructions, then it's your privilege, it's your right to receive the blessing.
Sure it is.
Rules are meant to follow,
Sure.
to take you to a desired
Right.
place.
You're right. That's right.
So if you can follow instructions, let's change the demographic. Change the word from instructions to blessings. I'm following my blessing.
Follow the blessings.
And this is my discipline to my blessing.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's not that hard.
It's simple.
It's just self-discipline and it's self-awareness.
Sure.
If you're willing to do that, then you should have everything that your blessings say you should have.
Exactly. That's right. That's right. It's elementary.
Yes, absolutely.
It's elementary.
But unfortunately, we get so caught up in someone telling us what to do
And how to do it.
and how to do
Yes.
it, and now we lose ourselves, meaning
Right.
we get to rebelling
Mm-hmm.
against our very opportunity.
Yeah, we lose focus because we say that we know what to do. You know, I know what to do. No, you really don't. You really don't. You follow something that somebody else did. Somebody before you did. You got to follow instructions and do the right thing instead of doing the wrong thing.
See, the thing about God is constantly every day waking us up with the breath that He put in us
Mm-hmm.
to let us know who we are to Him, not who we are to the world,
Right.
who we are to Him first.
Right. Right.
Once we can realize who we are to Him,
Mm-hmm.
and then He will say, "Go create." Now show me what the world looks like to you.
Right.
But people can't, create that. They can, excuse me, they cannot create that because they don't have no material to create it with. And because they have no material to create it with, they fail to look up. You understand what I'm
All you
saying?
gotta do is look up.
Because all you gotta do is look up,
All you gotta
and you realize, for one, who's giving it to you, and He's giving it to you for a purpose and a reason, for a desired destination,
Right.
for His will and your good,
Right.
for His glory and your pleasure.
That is.
And when I mean by pleasure, I don't mean by the things of your base natures. I'm not talking about that kind of pleasure. I'm talking about the pleasure of prosperity. I'm talking about the pleasure and wellness of your family. I'm talking about the pleasure of life,
Right. Right.
and more abundantly. We talking about pleasure, not the things that you would chase and never catch. I used to always tell people, do you know cars are going down the street and you see them moving? Yes, indeed. But they're going in the direction of what? If they're not being driven, they being pulled.
Right.
If they're not being driven, they're being pulled. It looks like they're being driven,
Yeah.
but to where?
Yeah.
And at what cost?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Majority of the cars you see go down the road are being pulled to something.
Yes.
And everything that's pulling them is trying to pull them away from God and their purpose in Him.
Right.
That's why they're miserable.
Right. Yeah.
That's why the drug and pharmaceutical companies are billionaires cashing out
Right.
on people's pain.
That's cold.
Yes.
That is.
That's
that
a
is-
target.
That is. That's cold. That's cold. Now you came home from incarceration, and you had an incident that happened to you, and you really left out of here. Your life was taken from you for
Quickly.
a short period of time.
Well,
Give me a story of that.
well, let me tell you something first. Let's set it up right. Well, anything that has to do with new life will be symbolic through water. You think about the womb of a woman, her water breaks. You think about Noah and building the ark and the flood, the water. You think about the children of Israel, what they perceived to be trapped. No, they was at an intersection. And God opened that Red Sea up. And they had to be willing to walk through that water to get through their promises. So on August 3rd, I had a very, very bad accident in Newport Beach. I was speaking at an event for the Wayward Outreach Church out of San Bernardino. They had an event in Newport Beach, like I said. And man, I decided to get in the water, Elamine. You know black people don't swim. What they doing in the water? But I decided to get in the water, brother. And I was in the water all of 5 minutes, waist deep. Everybody, kids, women, young men, old men, everybody's jumping into the waves. So I decided I'm going to jump into the wave too. I jumped into the wave, brother, and all I heard was snap. And I'm watching seashells be soared around on the bottom of the ocean floor. I cannot move from the neck down. Instant paralysis. So my C3 and my C4 cervical disc disintegrated into my spinal column, giving me a very bad spinal contusion, cut off all circulation. So I still hear women, I still hear children, I still hear men, I still hear women, but ain't nobody grabbing me, ain't nobody doing nothing. So my head hits the shore, and then my body with the wave goes right back out to the deep, and all I remember is seeing black. And then I just closed my eyes, felt my breath, and that was it. And then I woke up with a man by the name of Jose Garcia carrying me to the water and laid me on the beach floor, and I still couldn't move from the neck down. And all I can think about was my son I just had. What am I gonna do now? Am I gonna get up out of this? What just happened? Shortly after that, they rushed me to Orange County Global Trauma Center, where I had an emergency surgery by a doctor named Dr. Tribisi, a renowned surgeon in the state of California, and he was able to cut my neck open, to go in and to carefully remove the bone fragments from my spinal cord and column without further disrupting my spinal cord.
Really?
9 out of 10 people, LME, that had my accident are paralyzed from the neck down. And I'm standing here. You wouldn't know it if I told you.
No,
but my hands
no.
are numb, brother. I cannot feel my hands still. I still got some sharp pains into my arms, but I'm doing a possible thing. I laid in the hospital bed. I thought about Muhammad Ali and George Foreman rumbling. And I thought about the beating that George Foreman gave Muhammad Ali. But I also thought about the permission Muhammad Ali gave his body to take that beating. And I know that I woke up on that beach for a reason. I know that I wasn't killed or stabbed or beat up profusely in prison for a reason. I knew it. And I started using that, brother. I started swinging my arms with motion. And the next day, brother, I took a couple of steps. And then the next day after that, I took 250 steps in the ICU. And then they took me to the step-down program. And 7 days later, I checked myself out of the hospital with no wheelchair, no cane, and no walking apparatus. That's what God will do when you believe, brother.
Is that right?
Well, what you got? That's all I had. What did I have? I had my leftovers. I had everything I went through in prison. I had every module that they put me in. They tried to get gang members to kill me. I had every thought from me receiving bad kites telling me that someone's gonna try to kill you. Watch out, Q. I had high kites, and all I did was flush them down the toilet. I didn't move because I wasn't moving to their tomb. I wasn't in prison, brother. I was just in a location.
That's right.
Absolutely. I wasn't in prison, brother. So I wasn't playing by prison rules.
Yes. Yes.
If anybody was gonna do something to me, it was gonna be God.
Yes.
That's it.
That's right.
Because I knew I didn't belong there.
Right.
And I didn't play by those rules. And I used those leftovers, brother, and I self-activated with that. And every day, it's still a process. Every day I'm learning how to heal.
Yeah.
Every day I'm learning how to accept that I had an accident. Every day I'm learning how to accept that my body is not the same.
Yeah.
But the good thing about it is I'm on purpose.
That's right.
And I'm on purpose with what I got.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go looking for it. I didn't have to go buy it. It didn't come in a package.
Right.
It came in my belief.
Yeah.
And my belief set me free.
Yeah.
Nothing
right.
else.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. See, people check out for reasons, and they say, "Well, I got this." No, God got this.
Period.
We just puppets. We just being used.
I felt how limitless I was laying on that beach. Mm-hmm. How small a life is to the grand scheme things of the world as I was laying on that beach and I couldn't move. They asked me, move your hands, move your body, move your leg. I can't move. I can't even feel that.
Wow.
Lifeguard asked me, can you feel something? I said, man, I feel sharp tingling all over my body, but I cannot move. He said, do me a favor, wiggle your pinky. I didn't know that your pinky is actually, your thumb is actually not a finger, it's a muscle. He said, move your thumb. And I couldn't even move my thumb. And that's when he had the people run over there and say, man, we got a very, very possible cervical injury, a very, very bad contusion. We need that ambulance here, and we need the ambulance here now. Yeah, brother, I got the video and everything on my phone, brother, all of that. It was crazy. Right? So one of the young men I mentored, his name was Ernesto, he happened to go to work with me that day for me speaking, and he was there recording it.
Is that right?
Of all the days that this young man never came with me, he came with me that day. So these things was already set in motion. I believe that with all my heart.
Already set.
And see, I got a minister that I listen to that raised me. I love him to dear heart. His name is T.D. Jakes. And he always say, if God will show you what's going to happen just in the next 2 weeks, you'll run. But see, it's in him that you're going to have your being and you're going to live. Yeah. And it's in him that you're going to wake up. Yeah. And see, what I was woken up to, see, this wasn't about prison. This wasn't about a threat. This wasn't about parole or getting off parole. This wasn't about mistreatment. This was about me and him.
Yeah.
And he showed me something very, very simple that had to do with who he is over me.
That's right. That's right.
People, just that week, we heard about an accident in Florida where a man got hit by a wave and died instantly. So this great body of water hit me and knocked my C3 and my C4, disintegrated my bones. I got four screws and a plate holding my neck together right now. I don't sleep much no more, brother.
Is that right?
Absolutely, right now. And he pulled me up. Why did he pull me up?
Well, I can say that he has something else for you to do.
Absolutely, and we doing it.
He has
But
something
we
else for you
doing
to
it,
do.
and we doing it.
Right, right.
As we mentioned, I have a nonprofit company called
Right.
Soldiers Progression.
Yeah.
We go in and we teach people how to self-activate with what they have. That's the
Yeah.
progression principle.
Yeah.
God will never require your life to change with what you don't have.
Right.
So we gonna teach redemption, like while you incarcerated and post incarceration. We gonna tell you to show up where you can show up, and show up and do everything that you can. That's the possible thing.
Right.
If you got a job, brother, make sure you there on time.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
If they handing out shifts, make sure you can pick up an extra shift.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you on parole, the parole officer wants you at home. So why not be at work making money?
That's right. That's right.
And why not develop a plan to do something with the money?
Right.
So when you do get off parole, you ain't got to have your hand out.
Exactly.
Nor do you got threat of relapsing into your old behavior. Change your pattern, change your thinking. But you got to be willing to do that
You
with the
gotta willing to do it.
possible.
Willing to do it.
If
That's
you
right.
can, if you can believe in the possible thing, because see, we like to run after all the big stuff. We think it's complicated. We think we need a lot to do. Or hope. No. You take the little bit that you got and you work that.
To make it work.
And that little bit gonna turn into a lot, brother. Look where we sitting at, brother.
it
We
work.
was eating noodles and beans,
Eating
brother.
spreads.
Yes, absolutely.
To make gumbo in prison.
Noodles and beans, brother. Now you a CEO to your own company. I'm a CEO and president to my own company.
Yes.
And all we did was take what we had and worked with it
Make it work.
with consistency.
That's right. That's
We
right.
didn't take a break off
That's right.
because what we had, we believed in it.
Yes.
It just wasn't a season. I'm just gonna do it for now.
No.
We gonna do it because this is who we are.
That's who we are.
When I used to watch you, I said, how the hell it mean develop a multicultural group in
In
prison
prison.
to where every race
It's in the room.
wants to not just in the room, they busting down the door to get through the group. When can I sign up? You remember all the requests you got?
Yeah.
And then it's a group
Yeah.
where the Board of Prison Terms recognizes
Recognized today.
as everything can be covered.
That's right.
So what I did was, you ain't got to reinvent the wheel. We're going to create another organization called Soldiers Progression, sowing our unity, love, justice, and spirituality, and progression, brother. Sowing to the ones that you came from. Sowing to the ones that need it.
Right.
But most importantly, sowing to the ones with the fiber you got.
Yeah, you're right.
You got fiber.
Yes.
You didn't go through that for nothing.
Yes.
Joseph found himself at the bottom of a well.
Yeah.
He was able to use that well
Yes.
in Egypt
Yes.
as he was second in command
Yeah.
and help other people.
Yeah.
You found yourself at the bottom
bottom
of a well
bottom of the
for
well.
something you didn't even do.
Didn't even do. Didn't even do.
And you had the wherewithal
Yes.
and the submission
Yes. Yes. Yes.
to have multicultural
And that's something.
birthed out your belly in a place
Everybody.
where they say there's no life,
Yeah.
in a place where they say there's no water,
Yeah.
in a place where they say there's no growth and there's no development, in a place where they hand you numbers and shove food out of a window.
That's right. They go. Oh, I don't. And take the train. Sit down.
Come on now.
Take the
Come
train,
on
sit
now.
down. Yeah.
In a place where the common conversation is not like this,
Right.
but it's at high pitch and at a directive,
Whoa.
as if you a 12-year-old little boy,
Whoa.
as if you're running the same program that the other knuckleheads that's running around there running.
Wow.
And you a grown man. You old enough to be his daddy.
Isn't that something?
And he yelling at you
Isn't that something?
because he's inferior to you. Because he don't know how can you be in his prison and walk around with your Quran.
Yes.
How can you be sitting at this table and you doing all these assignments and you got a group across the hall and it's running?
Yeah.
How can you have officers delegating their own overtime to make sure that their multicultural doors open up every
real.
Saturday morning?
That's real. That's real.
See, that's the power of God.
Yes.
And that's the power of you believing in it.
Yes.
And if you didn't believe in it, if you didn't walk in it, then nothing would have happened.
That's right.
All that power, all that grace would have been locked up. But watch this. It would have been there for somebody else to access. But you accessed it, brother.
Yes.
You accessed it.
Made it happen.
You accessed
Made it
it.
happen.
Now, many men are accessing it.
Yes.
And because you were willing to go give it,
yes.
now other men can drink from the same water, brother, that you provided. That ain't nothing but the act of God.
That's what it is. That's what it is. We see. We went into a system for a reason.
Absolutely.
And I'm a firm believer. Everything in creation happened for a reason.
You better know it.
We was taken from the cesspool that we lived in,
Absolutely.
and we were sent to hell.
Absolutely.
Right. So we went into hell and saw everything that unnatural that the person ain't supposed to see.
Absolutely. Well, see, let me tell you something. I know for myself personally that I had destructive behavioral patterns. I know that.
Yes.
I know for myself personally that I made a lot of bad decisions, but I didn't make that fatal decision February 14, 2005. I didn't make that decision. That decision was made for me.
Right.
And unfortunately, because of my scope of thinking and the area of my functionality, I was in position for that to happen to me. But to God be the glory. Guess what happened? I was able to get in there, and I was able to develop not only social progression, but I wrote a program called REP. REP is the acronym for responsibilities, emotions, and pressure. We teach people how to do different things by watching other people do them. It's cost efficient. We watch videos and we ask people, what do you see? When people write down what you see, that'll scare you.
Yeah.
Because this is how they think. So therefore, this is how they will respond in the same manner. See, I didn't know all this was gonna happen when I went to prison. All I knew is I didn't do it. God, how dare you? I was mad at God. I didn't turn my back on God, but I was upset. I didn't allow him to be God. And then when I was laying in that hospital, brother, you know what he told me? He brought that back to me. He said, you didn't doubt me. No, you didn't doubt me. You just gave the people the power that never had it. Don't you see? I had the power all along. How can I what? Be God? Look at you. Lift your shirt up. How many stab wounds you got? How many stab wounds you done seen other men have with that same charge? Look at your face. How many scars you got? How can I what? Be God? How can I what?
That's right. Make it work.
Yeah. How can I what?
Work this. Make it work. Right.
How much education do you got?
Yeah.
You don't got no education.
Yeah.
You got me. Look at you.
Yes.
When you speak, when people hear you talk, the books that you think about that you're going to publish, what do they ask you? Marquise, where did you go to school at? And what do you have to tell them? You tell them with your face to the floor. I didn't go to school. I went to the penitentiary.
Right.
That's it.
My brother, you have a whole lot to say in a short period of time. But I want you to come back.
Absolutely. That'd be
I want
my
you to come
pleasure,
back
brother.
because see, society need to hear you. They need to hear what you got to say.
Absolutely.
And we want to bring you back and allow you to come back on the show and tell your story. Because see, this is you tell me some things that I didn't even know.
That'd be my pleasure, brother.
You know,
I didn't go through it for nothing.
Right,
I gave
right.
it. I went to it to give it away.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I want to bring you back. You know, I want to end now, okay? But I want to bring you back and do another segment and allow you to tell society your story.
That'd
It
be
needs
my
to be
pleasure.
told.
Run it. No, it will be
It
told,
needs
brother.
to be told. So this evening, we want to end this evening, and we want to bring Mr. Mitchell back and allow him to speak to the audience and allow the audience to feel him. Because, see, in this show that we have, this show is for formerly incarcerated, returned citizens, I call them, not formerly incarcerated. Now that's putting something on it. Returned citizens that's coming home with a new life, a new purpose in life. And Mr. Mitchell's come home with a new purpose in life. He come home fresh, brand new, you know, and he's trying to give something to society that you need, right? So we want to bring him back and allow him to tell the story in detail and allow you to be able to listen to it and get what you need from this. Because if you listen close enough, you're going to get something from it. So we want to thank you for watching the show tonight.
Yes.
The Elamine James Show. It comes on every Saturday night at 7 o'clock on Channel 29. If you can't watch the show on your television, go on YouTube and type in the Wendell Elamine James Show. And you can watch all my videos, all my interviews over the years. I've been doing this almost 5 years now. So you can look at any video at any time you want to look at. And if you have any feedback on the show, about the show, to enhance the show, call the studio. You know, I like constructive criticism. Give me something that's good.
And tell them where they can follow me. That they can follow me at Unbroken Marquise Mitchell on Instagram. You can also catch me.
What is that?
Unbroken Marquise Mitchell on Instagram. You can always catch me on soldiersprogression.org. That's SOULJAS progression.org. That's the webpage. They can look me up and they can see what we got going as far as a nonprofit organization.
Okay, you heard that. You heard that with your own ears. So write it down, and we're gonna bring them back so you can get back into your ear, get back into your head, so you can listen to it. Thank you, and have a great evening.